Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is George Braswell, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst for the Oklahoma Cancer Institute. I'm here today to provide some more in-depth information using our cyber threat landscape briefing as a jumping-off point. This information will be beneficial to you all as we continue to refine and reassess our security policies. As you may recall, in the briefing we discussed threat actors, who they are, some risks associated with them, and how they operate. For this quick presentation, we'll be singling out a few of the more specific attacks that we could face and the threat actors that present the most serious risks to our hospital. In the previous briefing, we discussed threats and vulnerabilities, but did not define the two. A threat is something that could potentially put our systems at risk, such as malware or malicious code. A vulnerability is a weakness in our hardware, software, or security procedures. It's a gap through which a bad actor can gain access to our assets. In other words, threats exploit vulnerabilities. It is important to realize the difference in these two terms as we talk about a couple of specific cyber attackers and the threats they pose to us. In our cyber threat landscape briefing, I introduced cybercriminals as one of our high-risk threat actors. Cybercriminals are individuals or teams of people who use technology to commit malicious activities on digital systems or networks with the intention of stealing sensitive company information or personal data and generating a profit. Cybercriminals are capable of leveraging several different types of threats against our IT assets and infrastructure. A threat I believe to be less serious is that of an intentional data breach, a form of cyber attack in which sensitive confidential or otherwise protected data has been accessed and/or disclosed in an unauthorized fashion. Data breaches may involve personal health information or PHI, personally identifiable information or PII, and proprietary business or other confidential information. According to a report compiled by BitGlass, there were nearly 600 healthcare data breaches in 2020, a 55% jump from 2019, and a 16.3% increase in cost per breach record from $429 to $499 between 2019 and 2020. Potential vulnerabilities that cybercriminals can exploit in order to gain access to our systems include weak or stolen login credentials, social engineering attacks on employees, and phishing. I believe a more serious threat from cybercriminals we should be prepared for is a ransomware attack. In a ransomware attack, hackers gain entry to a computer system, encrypt the files that run it, and then demand payment for a decryption key to unlock access. The extent and impact of a successful attack can be massive. More than 600 U.S. healthcare organizations and more than 18 million patient records were affected in 2020 alone at an estimated cost of nearly $21 billion to remediate. According to Stephen Lopez, AAMC Senior Director of Information Security, healthcare organizations tend to defer cybersecurity investment because it can be hard to divert resources to information security if it seems to come at the expense of patient services. But in this environment, patient services are at risk if organizations put off guarding against ransomware. Like cybercriminals, insider threats were also highlighted as a high-risk category of threat actors, specifically those who wish to do harm to the hospital. An insider threat is an individual who currently has or previously had access to a company's facilities, networks, or systems using his or her authorized access, wittingly or unwittingly, to do harm to resources, personnel, facilities, information, equipment, networks, or systems. The number of insider-caused cybersecurity incidents increased by 47% between 2018 and 2020, according to the Ponemon Institute. Additionally, the average annual cost for insider threats has grown to an astounding $11.45 million. Like cybercriminals, insider threats have the capability of leveraging several different types of threats against us. What makes them so dangerous is that they are already inside our systems and do not have to jump through the additional hoops to gain physical or network access to our systems and information that a cybercriminal would. Because a cyber-based attack isn't typically necessary for an insider, the threats they pose to us are a bit different. A lesser threat posed by an insider comes from a disgruntled employee. According to the Gartner 2020 Market Guide for Insider Risk Management Solutions, disgruntled employees account for 29% of the overall insider threat landscape. These employees purposefully and willfully commit theft of intellectual property and other sensitive documents for financial gain or to commit sabotage of critical systems. On the more serious end of the spectrum are insider threats called second streamers. These individuals are purely motivated by financial gain and steal confidential information and trade secrets to be sold to a competitor or on the dark web as a second stream of income. These individuals make up 62% of all malicious insider threats. Both second streamers and disgruntled employees either already have access to the information they seek or are well versed enough with the organization to figure out how to gain access to it, be it through elevating privileges, stealing credentials, or the theft of a colleague's laptop who already has access. This concludes today's presentation. Please be mindful of these threats as you continue to assess our security policies, and remain ever vigilant because security is everyone's responsibility. Thank you and have a great day.